Hello there. This is Kitty Shamlis of Loving Without Boundaries, and I'm here with Coach B. We're excited to have a beautiful conversation. And if you are looking for community, if you're not already with us on Facebook, you can find us there if you do a search for Loving Without Boundaries, Healthy Open Relationships, and Lifestyle Freedom. Or you can also find our work at my website, lovingwithoutboundaries.com, where you can also find the podcast, Loving Without Boundaries, as well. But without further ado, we're starting a little late today. Thank you for your patience if you are waiting. And thank you, B, for your patience. We're using a new system, and I was working out some of the kinks, if I can say that here. And we have a beautiful conversation about when comparison meets consensual non-monogamy. So I'd love to give the mic over to you, B, and have you get started.
Thanks, Kitty. Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Yeah, we talk about comparison today because this is something that, at least from my end, it's definitely been part of my personal journey, my journey through non-monogamy. And I can see like it's coming up in the space online as well, and with our amazing people as well that we're working with, feeling like they're unable to do anything about the comparison trap. So in itself, it can be like a really painful experience when we start comparing, and that compounded with not knowing how to stop that pattern and how to get out of the trap, it's adds to the issue. So I thought that it would be a really important aspect of our conversations to address this. And I want to say to help you humanize your experience that, as I alluded to that, I'm not immune to comparison either. So it sometimes comes up for me as well. And I also want to share with you so that you know that you're not failing, that as human beings, we have a comparative mind. And actually doing comparisons and contrasting can be really helpful in certain situations. For example, let's just think about it, that, okay, so this month, do we have enough money on our account to pay for your holiday with your partner and for us to buy a car? So compared to how much money we have available, do we have enough to cover for all these? Or another situation where using comparison can be super helpful. For example, if you have experienced a past experience with someone who's resistant to have STI discussions or practice safe sex, and you learn from that experience, and now you run into someone who starts exhibiting certain behavioral patterns that they just keep avoiding safer sex practices or STI testing. So in this particular case, you comparing your past experience with what's in front of you in the present can help you make informed decisions, because you can compress time and say to yourself that, you know what, I experienced something similar in the past, and this is something that I'm not willing to engage in the present or for the future. So it can help you it can save pain and investment in certain relationships that are not in alignment. But there's a shadow side of comparison, as possibly many of you in your consensual non-monogamous journey are familiar with that can help us feel really powerless in the face of that. So when this comparative mind that actually helps us navigate life decisions and in an empowering way, when it becomes problematic, is when we start making assumptions about someone else's intent. For example, a partner having a great time with a new partner, and we make the assumptions, we jump to that conclusion that this means that they don't love me anymore, or this means that they're gonna leave me. And we stay stuck in that pattern. This is when it really becomes like, oh, we gotta have to do something about it. And I wanna say to you that sometimes we might feel that, oh, if I felt more stability, if my partner gave me more reassurance, if my metaphor were kinder and more friendly, then it would solve the comparison. I wouldn't do that anymore. And what I say to that is, you absolutely want to address, if you notice that you keep comparing yourself, your self-worth, if you're doing enough, if you're enough in consensual non-monogamy, in a way that you interrupt it and you choose something else. Because if you let it run, no matter the amount of reassurance or the friendly people or the positive feedback or positive experiences, you're still gonna compare. So it's easy to spiral into that mode when we become like what I tend to call like a bottomless bucket, because I run a comparison pattern uninterrupted and unquestioned. No amount of reassurance and positive experience is going to help me fill that bucket up. So there's some shadow side to comparison as well. And now I'm going to hand over the mic to Kiri.
Thank you, B. You were really beautifully explaining all of that, really from the heart, and I appreciate you sharing that. And what I'll add to the conversation here is that a lot of times that tendency to go into comparison mode, that can come from a scarcity or a lack mindset where we can feel very disempowered. We can feel hopeless and feel not enough. Those are things that we hear all the time, like I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, and start to put ourselves in a lot of stress and worry. And a lot of the work that we do with folks is to help them move over more into feeling more empowered, where they're building an abundance mindset. Because we often say that when we're not feeling good or we're in a situation that feels really challenging, there's really two different ways to move forward. One is the way we're thinking about the problem, and then also our strategies or our actions or our behavior around whatever that situation is. And we always start with the psychology, how we're thinking about the problem. So that is often the work that we do right away when we are working with clients, is to help them do the work from the inside out of building their inner confidence, their resilience, their inner strength. That can be really critical work throughout the process here. And that's something that we do all the time. And it's an honor and a privilege to be able to walk alongside our clients to help them navigate that, because we often say from a place of empowerment that comparison is really the thief of joy. And I say that from a place of empowerment because once we have that understanding that we're almost stealing our own joy, then we can get into action and start to do something about it. And that's a lot of how we help the beautiful folks that we get to serve, including the folks in our Loving Without Boundaries community. So I'll go ahead and give the mic back over to you, B.
Thanks, Giri. You highlighted such an important point, like starting with the psychology and also like looking under the hood on occasion, like what we do with emotions as well, like to look at them as messengers, because they can hide a scarcity mindset or something that might need healing. For example, self-worth issues, or that the type of core belief that I am not enough. So it's also really helpful if we show up skillfully and change our relationship with comparison, and we start looking under the hood, like I wonder what comparison might be telling me. What is it, something that might need be healing or shifting? Is it maybe my state of thinking, because my focus keeps going on what's missing, what I don't like, what I don't have? Or maybe on occasion comparison can point us toward noticing that maybe something is missing for us in the relationship. So it can point toward an unmet need. So you absolutely want to approach it with an empowered psychology and look underneath, like what it reveals, and that shift it around. So we often keep talking about that transformation happens in the specifics, not the general. So I further want to extend on what you shared, Kiri, that we start with the psychology. So we examine the state of our thinking, and we pull out limiting, disempowering beliefs as well, and turn them around to support our goals. So I really appreciated that you highlighted the importance of that, and what comparison can hide and point us toward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for everything, that, including bringing this topic up, B. It's a really important topic. And it's so critical, because that leaning into those thought patterns or habitual patterns, because that's all some of this is habits that we can learn to build healthier, more constructive habits that build connection instead of unintentionally can damage our connection here. That you can learn to move away from any of those not enough thinkings or those comparison games that we can really cause ourselves to feel in those really disempowered states that can erode our sense of self-worth, our self-respect, our sense of self-esteem, and learn to instead build your confidence, build your sense of inner security, knowing that you're a catch, that you're an amazing person to be in a relationship with, and you are absolutely unique all on your own. I love this statistic that there's a 1 in 400 billion chance that you were even conceived, let alone that you made it to today, which happens to be June 24th, 2025. Like, that's a miracle, you know? So just remembering how unique and beautiful you are, and those unique qualities that you're bringing to a relationship that nobody else can bring. So that subtle but important shift to self-appreciation, self-empathy, really honoring you and the unique gifts that you bring to your relationship are really an important way to counteract those comparison games. And with that, I'll just mention here that if any of this is resonating with you, that you can feel free to reach out if you want to book a call. I'm trying to find out where that is now. I don't think I can find it. But if you are wanting to reach out, you can book a call at lovingwithoutboundaries.com/apply. I'll look for that again, B, while you're talking. But we're here for you. You can also come to our community, which is, again, on Facebook, Loving Without Boundaries. And if you search for healthy, open relationships and lifestyle freedom, that's where you can find us there. But if you do want to see if working with us as your coaching team works for you, you can go to lovingwithoutboundaries.com/apply. And B, I'll let you go ahead and wrap this up.
Yeah, thanks, Kitty. So I want to go back a little bit to that point that comparison can be a thief of joy. So indeed, if we don't break that particular pattern, if we don't stop it, don't question it, don't replace it with something else, we can really miss out on so much joy. It can land us in like people-pleasing patterns. Just quickly go through that, because many of you are possibly familiar with that. Being really stuck in this fight, freeze and flight response, feeling emotionally disconnected from your partner, or what we call like a field of battle, because you don't feel enough. Then I just want to sometimes like punish my partner. There's some revenge fantasy going on, resentment going on. We protect ourselves. When we protect, we can connect. That strains our metamour relationships as well, because we keep comparing ourselves in a negative light instead of connecting. So there are so many ways we're missing out on the beautiful joy that consensual non-monogamy can bring if we let comparison run on autopilot. But there's absolutely a way out of that, to stop that particular pattern and replace it with something more meaningful. This is what I've done on my own journey. From the paralyzing, debilitating anxiety and anger, I turned it around to, oh, okay, so this is an information for me. This is showing me something meaningful, and what is it that I would want to embrace instead? So there are very amazing ways where we can get out of the comparison trap and replace it with something more beneficial to our goals and life experiences.
So beautiful, B. And did you have any particular questions that you wanted to share?
Yes, absolutely. So I brought 3 questions that can help you like self-reflect as well, and help with interrupting this behavioral and thinking pattern. So when you notice yourself negatively comparing, so I'm not enough, or this person is much better, I'm not evolved enough, there's something wrong with me, what could be some meaningful ways that are meaningful to you when you interrupt yourself, what we call pattern interrupt? So how could you stop yourself in the moment, so you notice that you start comparing and you stop it, you don't spiral any further? So what's your pattern interrupt button, or a meaningful way that's helping you? Question number 2, once you interrupted the comparison, so you stopped it, but you're still not at a resolution part, how can you use that pause that you created from that downward spiral to understand what might be underneath comparison? So Kiri already mentioned a scarcity mindset or not enoughness. So how can you use that pause? Is it maybe journaling for you? Is it speaking to a friend? Is it asking yourself some great questions? For example, I wonder what comparison is showing me right now, what might be telling me, or I wonder what is the need that trying to express itself. So that could be some ways to explore that, or even exploring your comparison pattern if you feel that this is really impairing your consensual non-monogamy experience, to speak with a professional and help break that pattern and replace it with something else. And the last step, when you notice what might be the underlying message, what might be some needs that you want to heal or maybe express in your relationship, something that might be missing or feels out of balance, what could be your next best step? What could be the constructive strategy that feels constructive for you, for your own well-being, and for the well-being of your relationship?
I love that. Just capturing some of those real quick here. Those were great questions, B. I appreciate you coming up with those. Almost done. Of your relationship. Okay. So great topic. I'm really glad to be able to have this opportunity to share this with our folks here. So with that, we'll just say thank you for tuning in or watching the recording. I'm Kitty Chambliss of Loving Without Boundaries, here with Coach B, a valuable member of our team. We are delighted, and it is an honor and joy to serve this community. We love you. We love you living your most authentic lives and learning how to get the skills to do that free from jealousy, insecurity, debilitating comparison games, shame or guilt, or the pain of past or ongoing infidelity in the open relationship and sex positivity space, so that you feel unstoppable and fall back in love with yourself. So with that, thank you, Coach B, for your time and dedication. And thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time.